Hello YouTube, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. It is the middle of May, almost dead smack in the middle, like the day before Mother's Day. So it's, okay, not quite there, but it's the 9th of May. And I'm just wanting to check in. So I realized that May has kind of come and hit me pretty quickly. I wanted to do a recap of kind of like state of affairs from my desk. Not anything else. There's way too broad of a subject. So I just wanted to do a really quick check on my April wrap up on books. And I want to do my my May currently inked fountain pen. So let's do that one first. I've got this one because I've already pre-swatched so that I could show you guys what I have inked up. But I thought I would go through the lineup here. I've got my sheet of paper here. This is on a Hobonichi like memo notebook that I'm going to be using. And over here on the side, I'm going to kind of go through what I have in this case. And it's my little cheat sheet because I wanted to make sure I got them all correct. And we're going to get started with, let's see if I can do this in the correct order, because I did them out of order. Okay, so I'm still using from the month of April, because I think I inked this towards the end, and this is my Monte Grappa Marshmallow. And in this one, I'm going to just turn this to the side, and I'll zoom in so that you can see how dry my fingers are. Let's do that. And I'll try not to do camera shake. So I'll just kind of hold this. This is the Monte Grappa Marshmallow. And this is in a fine. And I have in here Caran d'Ache Divine Pink. Nice spring color. I actually really do like this pink ink. It's coming off darker on the camera, but it's a little dark. It's a darker pink, and I think that's why I kind of like it. So I've got that one, and then I'm still using, because I haven't ran out yet, my Kaweco Elite Sport Elite Royalty pen. And in this one, I'm still rocking the Inkabera Pill Violet. So that's Kaweco. And this is in a broad. And this is Inkabera Pale Violet. Nice juicy writer. I've actually really come to appreciate this pen. I used to not really like broad nib pens, and overall I really don't, but for some reason I really do like this one. So next up, and I've got to put that to the side because it's no room in the case, I'm going to pull out my Pelikan Custom 74. Really enjoying this color. This color is really pretty. This is Pilot Custom 74 in a fine. And this is Van Diemen's. And this is the Wilderness series. And the name of this is Devils in the Kitchen. Really enjoy this color a lot. I've been swinging my pins by country probably for the last year, and this month I kind of finally broke free and decided to do pins from all over the place. Okay, the other pin that I have is I'm still rocking my Pelikan M800. This is the only fountain pen I have purchased this year in 2025. Doing pretty good on my pen hiatus of not buying every pretty little pen that I see. And it still has in there Everglow by Diamine. So this is the Pelikan M800. This is an A fine. This is the Suveron. And this is Diamine Everglow. I really do like this ink. I might have to, because it's got a little bit of sheening to it, I might have to buy a bottle of this. A small one, if I can, but a small bottle of this one. Really am enjoying that one. So there's that one. And then I got restless and I decided that I wanted my Esterbrook. I love this pen. I think out of all the Esterbrook's, I was playing around with this morning and I was like, this is probably my second favorite Esterbrook after my very first one, which was the Rocky Top Special Edition that I got with the journaler's nib. It was my very first Esterbrook pen. But this is the Esterbrook Raven, and it is in, I do believe, a fine. And the ink that I have in here is D. Atramentis Fog Gray. Really enjoying this color a lot. Just really love that color. And that comes down like a blue, but when it dries a nice kind of bluish gray. Really, really, really like that color a lot. Okay, so then next up on the scenario is I've got my Yoseka collab. This is the, I think this is the home pen. But it's the last one in the series that they did as a collaboration that came out, I think, 2 years ago now. God, it's going so fast. And in this one, so this is a Sailor Pro Gear. And this one is in a fine. And this has in it Wearing Goals. Oops, I almost spelled that wrong. Goals, a star, splattered hill. And I love the yellowish, orangey kind of color this one has. I'm going to put that over there like that so you guys can see that. So that's a star splattered hill. And then I have, okay, I'll go brown and, I'll go green and then brown. I have my Pelikan M400 White Tortoise. And I am starting to lean towards a little bit girthier of a pen. But this is not bad. It's a little bit on the thin side. So this is a Pelikan M400. And this one is in a fine. And this is the White Tortoise. And I'm going to probably spell this wrong, but forgive me and my bad spelling. This has in it Pilot Iryoshizuku Shiku Rin. And another fantastic writing experience. So I've got the M400, the 600, and the 800, and I think now I'm finally done with Pelikan pens for now. I won't be getting the M1000 anytime soon, given how much the M600, 800 runs. I think I'm going to be holding still for a second. And then lastly, but not least, is the most inexpensive pen I have in this collection, which is a Jinhao HOA 82. I like this colorway though. Amazon. You can't beat these pens. I think this is Private Reserve. Oh, and this isn't a fine. Private Reserve chocolate. And I was filling a brown ink, so I searched and shopped my stash, and lo and behold, I have that one. All right, so this is the lineup for May. I think it's a pretty decent lineup. I will show it to you in Hobonichi's Tomo River paper that they currently have out. And this one is old, actually. This paper is old, and I'll show it to you on, I think this is Cuckoo, Mimose. I'll show it to you on that one because I do have it in a Mimose pad. So this is what it looks like in old Hobonichi Tomo River paper. Looks like that. And then on my Mimosen paper, it looks like this. And I will zoom up so that you guys can see it a little bit better. So that's what fog gray looks like on that. Incobera, Montegrape, Carandash. It looks a little brighter on this paper, I would say, than what I'm looking at on the Hobonichi Tomo River. The Pelican Van Diemen's. That's the Sailor with the wearing gold. And here, can you just bring this up as a quick comparison? So they look almost same, but a little bit darker in some areas. I didn't do them in the same order, which is why I didn't hold it up, but it just looks like Tomo River's just a little bit darker than the Mimosen paper. And there's that. So that's the Mimosen. So those are the inks that I have currently inked up for May. Okay, let's talk books really quick. I read, where's my journal? Where's my journal? Hold on a second. I had it together. I read and I'm still using this journal. So let's get out of there. It's my book club. Okay, so May, just gonna go here, April. Okay, so I read Onyx Storm. Anxious People, I finished up within the first couple of days. I started that one very, very late. So the first book that I finished was this one. I am watching the Netflix series of it. It seems to be following the book pretty well. I'm gonna just read you the back of it. Looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts into and takes a group of the 8 strangers hostage. And basically the book is about that whole hostage situation and how they deal with it. I will say, as Fredrik Backman is, I think, a Swedish writer, he has a very Swedish mentality on the outcome of it. It's not as you would think it is. It's a very interesting book, and it's an interesting television show so far on Netflix. I enjoyed it. I gave that book, let's see here, Anxious People. Sorry, I have so many of these that I have to kind of come through. I gave it a 4 stars. I thought it was a solid read. The character development, there's not a lot about character development. This one is more plot driven. The television show seems to go into more character development than the book does. I think if they would have tried to do that in the book would have been much longer, because you kind of see the back and ins and outs of the hostages, a little bit about their lives and their experiences and how some of it gets played forward and how it manifests in this hostage situation. So there's room for it in a television show where there's not room for it in the book. So there's a little bit of deviation as far as that's concerned, but overall, solid read. Really am liking my first introduction to Fredrik Backman. So that was book number 1. Then I started dabbling in the book Thorn Hedge by T.K. Fisher. I did buy a copy of this book in multiple formats. This was a slow start for me. I gave it a 3.5 stars. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. It kind of makes sense when you read about T. Fisher's as a writer. I think she started off writing children's books, and so this is like an adaptation of Snow White. Slow starting book, strong finish, but slow starting book. Satisfying ending. It is very interesting. So if you want a quick read, this is a very short book, but because it's short and it had a very slow start, it took me forever to get through. So 3.5 stars for that one. Not bad, not great, not life altering, but I did find it very enjoyable. Then I read the next book in the series of, and this is this book is very controversial in the sense that either people love it or hate it. I loved it. I think a lot of people who, when they read the first book of this, which is, why am I drawing a brain fart? Fire something, and I'll put it up above. But and I have it. But I found like a lot of people expected it to be like a slow burn, or the romance was a little bit too rushed. And I felt like if you're dealing with a fantasy series that has dragons, your life might be short. So therefore, you tend to move quickly on love and romance. But I really did feel like she explored more. You got a little bit more nuance and subtlety about the fight and struggle that's happening here. And because I cannot remember the name of the book and it's driving me absolutely nuts, I'm going to go and walk over to the shelf to make sure I can look at it. The first book was Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and Fourth Wing. And I absolutely thought Iron Flame was a little bit, it was the first book in the series. I loved it. A lot of people didn't like it. Then Fourth Wing came out, and I think people were mad. I think you're going to either like the series or you're not. I like the series. People are young, and so they're doing things that I think that are totally what young people do. So I liked it. I gave this one a 4.5 stars. I really did enjoy it. It was nice, quick pace action. Things were happening all over the place. There was a lot of development with a lot of the secondary characters really did kind of come into play to me in the series and kind of help along the two primary characters to like give some breathing space to those two characters, it just being about them all the time. And I really did enjoy how Rebecca Yarros kind of put more effort around the secondary characters in this book. There's some prizes and some twists in this book, and one I didn't see coming at the end, so I'm really looking forward to whatever happens next with this because it didn't stop at this one. I thought it was going to stop at this one, and it didn't. Next up for the month, I read on my, I think it was on my Kobo, I read Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. I'm really starting to move a lot of my books over from the Kindle if I can, although I'm still kind of locked into the Kindle Paperwhite ecosystem. It's just, there's too many things out there that are good under even the unlimited stores that I'm finding that I'm really enjoying. So I ended up trying to jailbreak my Kindle and it didn't work quite successfully. The code or the method of doing that went away. And so they're still working on trying to make that available for people who want to jailbreak their Kindles. But then the Kindle development team kind of said, aha, we're going to lock down DRMs and not make it jailbreakable. So they got to refigure that out. Oathbound, though, was off the chain. I thought Tracy Deonn outdid herself on this book. And I thought, again, I will say this, and this is a bit of a spoiler if you haven't read it, there's more to come with this. I thought that this was going to be kind of like a wrap-up maybe of a trilogy. Nope, there's more. And this book was really, really good. At points, I couldn't stop putting that book down at all. I just was like so into it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Legendborn cycle, but this was a very good read in the month of April. Now, towards the end of April, I went and did a kind of a mini book haul, I should say. I did a book haul. And I was in B&N, and I picked up this Daily Stoic book, and I've been reading it almost every day since then. And it's a daily kind of words of wisdoms from the viewpoint of people who consider themselves Stoics, which are philosophers. And so I've just been reading it since probably, I would say, the middle of April. So this is an ongoing, everyday kind of read thing, but really enjoying kind of like things to make you ponder every day, things to think, make you self-reflect and figure out if it's if it's applicable to you, and it's something that you want to try to let it kind of settle into yourself and think about, just to make yourself a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a deeper thinker, but just kind of it does make you ponder how you live your life and what you value, and are you kind of carrying that forward a little bit. So I'm really enjoying that. And then lastly, what have I started to do in the month of May? So that ended up the month of April. I felt like it was a very strong, oh, I'm sorry, I got one more book. Normal People. I finished it. I'm watching the television show on Hulu as well. Normal People, I thought, was a very interesting take of how somebody, how can I say this without giving it, how somebody internalizes romance and how they react to the act of sex. This book is a very interesting book because I didn't think the author was going to even broach a relationship the way that she kind of did, especially with the female character. But the perspective and point of view, so I don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, was one that's very interesting and not necessarily in the parameters of what you would consider normal. So this book was an interesting read. I'm not going to say it was a bad read. I actually think I gave it like a 4-star read because Sally Rooney does do, no, I gave it a 3.5. Sally Rooney does a really good job with her writing. I had no problem with her writing. Subject matter was a little disturbing, a little off-putting because I wasn't expecting it. But nonetheless, I find that watching the television show after having read the book, the show is mostly following the book as it was written. So I'm actually enjoying how the Europeans seem to kind of follow closely the book to a television show. So that was the month of April. I read 5 books. 5 books, but not really counting Daily Stoic. Daily Stoic is more like a half of a read because it happens every day. So it was a solid month. I have no complaints. I'm in the month of May. And I did the TBR board game for myself that I see a lot of other people who do BookTube. I'll leave the link in that previous video up here somewhere that you guys can kind of see it up over here in the corner somewhere. I am starting to read now for the month of May. I'm at James Baldwin and Giovanni's Room. I finished the book Read Bottom Up, and I'm reading on my Kindle Jade Legacy, which is the last book out of the Greenbone saga from Fonda Lee. And it's a chunky monkey. It's 711 pages, and it's going very well. Very much dealing with the family life of one of the particular families in that book, and all the things that go along with them being part of a kind of clan, as it were. But, I don't want to say like, it's almost like mafia style, but East Asian bent. So I'm reading Jade Legacy right now by Fonda Lee. Absolutely liking it, but it is chunky. Like, it's going to take me, I would think, almost until the end of this month to get through 711 pages worth of reading. And so that's why I've been tackling on and adding other books like James Baldwin and Giovanni's Room just to kind of give me a break. So these 2 books I'm currently reading side by side. I don't know if I'm going to get through a lot of the books because a lot of the books that I've picked are really quite thick. But I think going into the month of June, I'm going to start reading some standalone books versus I'm trying to wrap up the end of series, which is why I'm reading Jade Legacy. And James Baldwin was another one that I was holding on to from a past TBR list. So I'm trying to get through some of my older stuff so that I can get to some of the newer books that I've picked out. And I have done more book purchasing, but I'll get to that kind of as we get later on in the month. I will probably do one more video this month, and then we'll be in the month of June. And boom, just like that, half the year's gone. So it's going really quick. I hope everybody is doing okay. Thank you if you stayed this long for checking out my channel. I hope you like the content. I know it's a different format, but this is kind of like the things that I'm enjoying right now. I will say there's one other thing that I'm not really talking about on that channel, and that's my French language lessons that I've been doing in the side background. And so I've been using this book, Fluentish. I started it this month to keep track of how I'm absorbing French content, which is reading books, watching television shows, and just trying to like get more fluent that way with daily practice and listening and getting my ear exposed. I also am using the app Jump Speak, and that seems to be going really well. So it'll be interesting to see what I can get into maybe next month, maybe go to some local French embassy events in DC. So that's all I got today. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope your summer, or I should say late spring, is going well. Happy Mother's Day. I know that this will probably come out on Mother's Day, so for all you moms out there and fur baby moms, have a good one. I hope you guys enjoy time with your family, and until next time, take care. Bye.